Chinese President Xi Jinping is in Astana for a summit with leaders of Central Asia. His plane was escorted by Kazakh fighter jets, and once on the ground, he was greeted by President Taihe at the airport. Topping the discussions, economic and strategic ties. President Xi will hold separate meetings with all the leaders of the 5 Central Asian countries attending the summit. You know, there's been so much focus here in the West, as you know, about the ongoing tensions between China and the U.S., especially when it comes to trade and tech. But I think this summit is another illustration of how China is continuing to build strong partnerships elsewhere. I mean, it's almost like an octopus with tentacles going in so many different directions, in a way, really reducing the reliance on the West in a sense. Can you talk about these efforts?
You know, this is about trade, trust, and growth. You know, this is not just a vision for Central Asia. I mean, this is the Belt and Road Initiative, which now extends to South America, Africa, you name it. And other approaches driven by militarization or ideological divides. Beijing is emphasizing economic pragmatism, you know, energy corridors, digital infrastructure, cross-border trade agreements that strengthen regional security while creating prosperity. You know, China's trying to balance small and, high-quality, impactful investments, as we were just talking about, because this model proves that economic partnerships, rather than military posturing, the key to a stable future.
And they're talking about expanding their partnership, 10 agreements signed, a lot of talk about people-to-people exchanges. This is something where China's been at the forefront. I remember interviewing the late President Jimmy Carter talking about getting a call late at night about, we want to send these students to the United States. And of course, that's been an ongoing tradition for many, many years, China's relationship and the importance of people-to-people exchanges. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Well, this is absolutely essential at a time when social media, kind of pushed by a few actors and agendas, is trying to separate people. When people actually see each other, or when they talk to each other directly, whether it's Xiao Hongshu, Little Red Book, whatever, all of a sudden they understand that the narratives that are being pushed are not real. You heard earlier that they were talking about the Chinese sayings that Xi Jinping often uses as a kind of greeting. Well, this is education. This is an understanding. And this is something where China and the rest of the countries have to learn mutually about each other. You know, trade is about trust. And you can only trust somebody if you understand them. And you can only understand them if you listen to their story before you tell yours.
Really good point there. Let me ask you one final question before we let you go. The China Central Asia Summit wraps up. What does success look like to you?
Success is more blueprints. I mean, it's, as you saw, 10 agreements that were signed. These are tangible benefits. This is about growth step by step. 94 billion plus of trade, starting off at 10 years ago. This is what is necessary to get it done. This is the second China Central Asia Summit in Kazakhstan. It reinforces the region's collective interests in an integrated future. And it's not about, China ruling the roost. This is about interdependence economically. This is how you achieve peace, when people understand that, the recipe for stability lies in commerce, not confrontation.
Really good point. Einar, always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for joining us in the early morning hours there in China. Appreciate it.